Nowadays, people are bringing home about $2,500 every single month. On paper, that sounds like a lot of money because it is way more than most of us have ever seen in our entire lives. If you look back just a few years, an income like that would have meant you were set. You would be living laid back, completely comfortable, and probably putting some money away for a rainy day. But that is not the reality we are living in right now. Today, even with that kind of cash coming in, most people are drowning in debt and can barely keep their heads above water. The math just does not add up anymore. The rent for a basic 2-bedroom apartment is sitting right at $2,500. Think about that for a second. If your entire paycheck is going straight to a landlord, what are you supposed to eat? How are you supposed to get to work? This housing crisis has reached a point where it is actually disgusting. We have families living like sardines, shoved into tiny 1-bedroom apartments. You have got parents, kids, and even grandparents all squeezed into one small space because nobody can afford to breathe. It is not just the rent killing us either. The bills are absolutely out of control. The electric bill alone is so high it feels like a joke. When the lowest monthly bill you see is $300, you have to wonder if the power company thinks you are running a nightclub in your living room. We are working harder than ever just to stay poor. We are being squeezed from every side by prices that make no sense while the people in charge act like everything is fine. It is not fine. It is a struggle every single day just to keep the lights on and a roof over your head. We are being told the economy is great, but the bank accounts of regular people say something completely different. You cannot call it a success when a full-time income cannot even cover the cost of a place to live. This is the reality of the world we are in right now, and it is time we started talking about it exactly as it is without sugarcoating the struggle. Right now, a massive number of people are being kicked off the SNAP program, and it is a complete disaster. We are talking about older folks who built this country, people who don't even have disability checks coming in to save them. They are being denied help or seeing their benefits slashed to nothing because of these new bills being pushed through that are supposedly great, but are actually just ruining civilian lives. It is a cold, hard reality that these policies are stripping the safety net right out from under the most vulnerable people we know. Because of these cuts, many seniors are being forced to pack up their lives and move in with their adult children and grandkids just to have a roof over their heads. They spend their days babysitting and trying to help out, but the truth is they are just trying to survive. We are seeing empty fridges, empty cabinets, and pantries that have absolutely nothing in them. These people are running out of food constantly. It is heartbreaking and infuriating to know that, in this day and age, many of our elders are going to bed without having a single meal because a piece of paper signed in a fancy office decided they didn't deserve to eat anymore. This isn't some distant problem. It is happening in our neighborhoods and in our families right now. We are being told everything is moving in the right direction, but you can't say that when people are starving in silence. We have to look at what is actually happening on the ground level where people are suffering. When the government decides to cut corners on the backs of the elderly, it shows exactly where their priorities are, and it isn't with the regular people. We are facing a crisis where the basic necessity of food has become a luxury for those who worked their whole lives. It is blunt, it is ugly, and it is the truth of what these new laws are doing to our society. We see the struggle every day as families try to stretch a dollar that doesn't exist anymore, all while the people at the top act like they've done us a favor. There is no dignity in a system that leaves a grandmother with an empty stomach while she watches her grandkids. We need to stop pretending these policy changes are beautiful or helpful when the result is just more hunger and more debt for the people who can afford it the least. We are looking at a country where people are walking around with diabetes, fighting cancer, and dealing with all kinds of serious illnesses, yet they cannot even afford to step foot inside a doctor's office. You have folks with missing teeth who can't see a dentist because a basic checkup costs more than a week's worth of groceries. This isn't just a few people. It's a massive chunk of the population that is drowning. Their bills are through the roof, the rent is astronomical, and they owe money everywhere they turn. We are talking about people who are months behind on their rent, living every day with the fear of an eviction notice taped to their door. And in the middle of all this suffering, we have the current administration acting like everything is a fairy tale. It's like Trump thinks he's some kind of Cinderella, but instead of a glass slipper, he wants the working class to pay for his billion-dollar ballrooms. If the government keeps stealing taxes from regular people to fund luxury projects and vanity fairgrounds, it is going to force 70% of Americans straight onto the streets. You cannot take money from people who already have zero and expect them to survive. It honestly feels like Trump didn't come to the presidency to lead. He came to erase the existence of the middle class, the low-income families, and the homeless altogether. Every policy and every decision seems designed to wipe out the people who actually keep this country running. While the elites talk about big, beautiful ballrooms and high-end developments, the average person is deciding between buying medicine or keeping the lights on. It is a calculated move to push the poor even further down until there is nothing left but the ultra-rich and the people they stepped on to get there. We are being robbed in broad daylight by a system that cares more about gold-plated ceilings than whether a child has a bed to sleep in. This isn't a political debate. It is a fight for survival for millions of Americans who are being ignored. If we don't start calling out this absolute greed, there won't be a middle class left to save. It is blunt, it is ugly, and it is the reality of what is happening under this leadership. We are being squeezed until we bleed. Also, the people at the top can keep living in a dream world while we live in a nightmare. The ballroom fantasy, while America starves, we are living in a time where the person at the top acts more like a colonist than a leader, obsessed with his own luxury while the rest of us are struggling just to get by. It is the same old story with this guy. He is acting like Cinderella, demanding a big, beautiful ballroom, but he expects the regular working people to pick up the tab. It is clear as day that he does not care about the people he was actually hired to serve. He doesn't care if you are starving, he doesn't care if you lose your home, and he certainly doesn't care about the stress you feel every time you look at your bank account. He is sitting in a world of gold and mirrors, while actual civilians are being pushed onto the streets. Let's be very blunt. We are not going to fund some high-end ballroom for a man who hates the middle class and the poor. Why are we even talking about building fancy rooms for elites when the people are suffering? If anyone owes anyone anything, it is him. He owes the American people those 2 checks he promised. Where are they? People are out here waiting for the help they were told was coming, but instead of relief, we get talk about ballrooms and vanity projects. It is an absolute insult to every hard-working person who is watching their tax dollars disappear into a black hole of ego. We need to stop pretending this is normal behavior for a president. A real leader looks out for the hungry and the homeless. They don't plan parties while the country is in a housing crisis. We see exactly what is happening here, and it is a total betrayal of the public trust. We are done being ignored, and we are definitely done paying for the fantasies of a man who clearly has no respect for the people living in the real world. If you like this video, feel free to follow, subscribe, like, and share and comment. This way I can create more truth for you. Love always, Maria D.C. Santiago.
They called us evil while they were the ones carrying out evil in plain sight. They branded us the enemy while they were the ones launching the attacks. They said we did not belong while they were the invaders, rewriting the rules and claiming ownership over what was never theirs. The accusation was their weapon, the lie was their armor, and the louder they shouted, the more they tried to drown out the truth. They abused and abused over and over again, hiding behind titles, uniforms, polished speeches, and corporate logos. When someone dared to speak up, they labeled that person crazy. When someone asked questions, they called them unstable. When someone refused to bow, they isolated them, discredited them, erased them from conversation. Character assassination became their strategy. Silence became their goal, and too many of us were distracted, divided, or conditioned not to see it. Power protects itself, that is the game. Organizations, corporations, children's programs, intelligence agencies like the Central Intelligence Agency and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, members within the military structure, and trillionaire elites moving money like chess pieces across a global board, all woven into a system that feeds on control. They track everything, every click, every purchase, every location ping. They know where we go, what we buy, what we search, what we say. Data is the new currency, and we are the product. They call it security, they call it protection, they call it policy, but surveillance, dressed up in clean language, is still surveillance. Control wrapped in bureaucracy is still control. They build networks that stretch from boardrooms to government halls, from tech giants to financial empires, and they expect no one to question the architecture of it all. This is not paranoia, this is pattern recognition. When the same hands fund the same narratives, when the same institutions shield each other from accountability, when truth gets buried under headlines designed to distract, that is not coincidence, that is design. And once you start pulling at the threads, the hole goes deeper. Power connects to power, money connects to influence, influence connects to silence. It is a rabbit hole without end, layered and complex, engineered to exhaust anyone who dares to dig. But the truth does not disappear just because it is inconvenient. It waits and it rises.
The Epstein files are not showing everything. There are things far worse than these.